The more available you are, the less power you hold. When people can reach you anytime, they stop valuing your presence. When you always respond, they stop respecting your time. When you're constantly around, they stop noticing you at all. Because in human psychology, access kills value. But here's the shift. You don't need to say more, do more, or fight for attention. You just need to pull back, disappear, strategically, speak less, be seen less. And suddenly, your presence becomes a craving. Your silence becomes a trigger. Your absence becomes obsession. In this video, you'll learn how to use scarcity as a weapon, not to punish, but to control, subtly, powerfully, without saying a word. 1. The psychology of scarcity. The human mind is wired to want what it can't easily have. We don't chase what's available. We chase what's disappearing, what feels rare, what feels exclusive, because scarcity doesn't just increase desire, it increases perceived value. Here's how it works. When something is constantly accessible, the brain classifies it as secure. No urgency, no threat of loss, no spike in dopamine. But when access becomes limited, the mind panics. It starts projecting. It starts creating meaning. If they're not replying, they must be thinking. If they're gone, did I do something wrong? If I don't act now, I might lose them. Scarcity hijacks the emotional brain, and that emotional tension turns attention into obsession. You've seen it in action. The person who texts less gets more attention. The brand that sells out has more demand. The one who disappears gets remembered more than the one who stays. Why? Because scarcity forces the brain to assign higher value. Even if nothing else changes, this isn't manipulation. This is biology. When something is limited, your brain assumes it's important. It prepares to act. It attaches meaning. It fixates. And that's the power of controlled absence. You don't have to change your words. You don't need to add more effort. You just need to become less available. And the less they can reach you, the more they chase you. Not because you said more, but because you withheld access. 2. Why constant access destroys your value. You think being available makes you more connected, more caring, more trusted. But in reality, it makes you more forgettable. Because the more people can reach you, the less they feel the need to. Constant access kills tension, kills mystery, kills the emotional gravity. That makes someone pause and think, what if they're gone? You eliminate the unknown. And when there's no unknown, there's no psychological hook. Think about it. The person who always answers immediately. You stop anticipating their replies, the one who never misses a call. You stop valuing their time, the one who's always around. You start looking through them, not at them. This is human nature. Familiarity reduces urgency. Availability reduces perception of value. The moment someone feels they have you, they stop earning you. The moment they know you'll always be there, they stop showing up fully. Here's the paradox. The more you chase connection, the more you make yourself common. And the more common you become, the less power you hold. Because people don't value what's constant. They value what they could lose. This doesn't mean you become distant out of spite. It means you remove excess access with precision. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-responding. You stop flooding their senses with your presence. Because value is created through contrast. Presence must be earned, not assumed. And when you're constantly available, you eliminate contrast. No space, no silence, no scarcity, just noise. And people don't crave noise. They crave what's missing. Scarcity isn't rejection. It's elevation. You're not pulling away to punish. You're pulling back to restore the weight of your presence. So when you do show up, it lands, it matters. It creates an impact. Not because you said something brilliant, but because you weren't always there. 3 to 5 scarcity tactics that shift the power dynamic. Scarcity is not distance. It's not silence for the sake of ego. It's strategy. Used with precision, it shifts the power in every interaction. Here are 5 scarcity tactics that instantly increase your perceived value without saying a word. 1. Reduce response time. Delay intentionally. Don't respond right away. Not because you're playing games, but because you're not accessible on command. Every time you pause before replying, you raise the perceived weight of your response. People start thinking before they reach out. They anticipate your words. They chase your attention, because delayed access creates tension, and tension drives obsession. 2. Disappear strategically. Break the pattern. If people get used to your rhythm, break it. Vanish for a day. Go quiet without warning. Interrupt the loop of constant availability. Why? Because unexpected absence creates emotional instability in the observer. They replay your last words. They wonder why you're gone. They fill the silence with their own thoughts. And in that vacuum, you gain psychological space. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer owned. You become an anomaly. And anomalies get attention. 3. Control exposure frequency. Appear less, mean more. Most people overexpose themselves. They talk too much, post too often, insert themselves everywhere. But the less you appear, the more every appearance matters. Limit how often you speak. Limit how often you share. Limit how often you're seen. This creates presence by contrast. You don't need to dominate space. You just need to leave space dash and let your absence speak louder. 4. Create silent gaps. Let them fill the void. When you speak, don't fill every silence. Leave intentional gaps. Say something impactful. Then go silent. They'll replay it. They'll interpret it. They'll assign meaning far beyond your intention, because silence invites projection. And when people project onto you, you control the frame without ever defining it. Let the silence haunt them. Let the gap work for you. 5. Selective accessibility. Make presence a privilege. Not everyone should have equal access. Your energy is not a public service. It's a resource. Treat it that way. Be kind, but limited. Be present, but not predictable. People value what they have to earn. So make your presence something they must qualify for, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. Because when your presence becomes selective, your influence becomes magnetic. Use these 5 tactics not to punish, but to position. You're not creating scarcity to play hard to get. You're creating scarcity to remind the world your time is rare, your energy is expensive, your access is earned, and that's what keeps power exactly where it belongs, in your hands. 4. Scarcity in relationships, business, and influence. Scarcity isn't just a personal tactic. It's a universal principle, and when you apply it to the right areas, everything shifts. Let's break it down. 1. In relationships, scarcity creates emotional gravity. Most people think connection means constant presence, constant communication, constant reassurance. But in reality, it kills mystery. It kills tension. It kills value. When you're always there, your energy becomes background noise. But when you pull back strategically, every interaction becomes heavier, more memorable, more meaningful. Suddenly, they're wondering, where are you? What are they thinking? Did I lose their attention? That gap pulls them in. It forces them to invest mentally. And once someone invests mentally, they're no longer in control. You are. 2. In business, scarcity drives demand and perception. In business, Scarcity isn't just psychology. It's marketing. Think of limited edition drops, sold-out launches, wait lists. Why do they work? Because when something isn't always available, people assume it's more valuable. They act faster. They trust it more. They want it more. You can do the same with your offers, your brand, your time. Don't be the one who's always chasing clients. Be the one they wait for. Because when your presence feels exclusive, your perceived value multiplies. 3. In influence, the quiet ones lead the room. Influence isn't about volume, it's about contrast. The person who speaks less gets heard more. The person who only appears at key moments commands attention when they do. Scarcity in influence means you don't insert yourself everywhere. You wait. You choose. You show up with intention. That's what makes people listen, not because you're louder, but because you're rarer. You become a presence they anticipate. Not just another voice in the noise. Scarcity sharpens perception in every context. In relationships, it creates tension. In business, it creates demand. In influence, it creates presence. And when combined, it creates power. Not the kind that chases, the kind that pulls. 5. The risk. Scarcity without substance is emptiness. Scarcity creates tension, but tension without depth is just noise. If you pull back, but there's nothing behind you, you won't become powerful. You'll become forgettable. This is the risk most people ignore. They mistake withdrawal. For mystery, they mistake silence. For impact, they mistake less words. For more weight, but scarcity only works when there's something worth chasing. Here's the truth. If your energy lacks clarity, your absence won't be felt. If your presence lacks power, your silence won't echo. If your mind lacks identity, your inaccessibility will feel like avoidance, not influence. Scarcity amplifies what's already there. If you are grounded, strategic, self-possessed, then every disappearance feels deliberate. Every pause feels precise. Every absence feels intentional. But if you're unstable, undefined, uncentered, then scarcity only exposes your weakness. It doesn't pull people in. It pushes them away. So build the core first. Sharpen your frame. Strengthen your presence. Clarify your value. Then pull back. Then reduce access. Then go quiet. Because when your substance is real, scarcity doesn't just increase power. It creates a gravitational field. People won't just notice you're gone. They'll feel it. They'll crave it. They'll chase it. And that's when scarcity becomes a weapon of control. 6. Final CTA. You don't need to be louder to gain attention.
You don't need to do more
to gain influence. You just need to be less available. Because in a world addicted to noise, absence becomes power. The less they can access you, the more they value your time. The less they hear from you, the more your words carry weight. The less they see you, the more your presence becomes unforgettable. Scarcity doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. It tells the world, I don't chase, I don't overexpose, I control what I give, and to whom I give it. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, reduce your access. Speak with intention, be where you're needed, and vanish where you're not. Watch what happens when your energy becomes rare. Watch how they lean in, when you lean back, and when you're ready to take the next step. We go deeper, because once you've pulled back, you'll need a new weapon: reflection. In the next video, you'll learn how to control people by silently mirroring them until they reveal more than they ever intended. It's called the mirror technique, and it's one of the most dangerous tools in silent psychological warfare.